You're listening to the Unreasonable Fridays podcast network.
I get it. I own Talos Principle. I no longer own Talos Principle. Like they said, here, have a free game, and I was like, cool. And they said, you own it, and I was like, cool. And they were like, nah, Talos Principle 2 is here, so you no longer own this free game. I think it was when they ended the games on gold thing that some of the games just got removed from you, but some of the games are there, and some of the games are removed. Yeah. It's a nuanced, complex system I don't understand. Okay.
I have that was my last grievance. My new grievance is the Microsoft Store will let you buy games that you can't play, and then you have to jump through hoops to get a refund. So this Microsoft Store for Dance Central Spotlight is still up, despite the fact that game is not. You can only play it on offline mode. None of the online features, including the store, are functional. But if you go on the Microsoft website, they will still try to sell you songs. So you'll think, oh, I want new songs because there's only 19 songs available because they lost the licensing for most of them. So they yoinked it all. So all your songs.
This is true. I can confirm this.
Yeah. So my little cousin wanted to play some Dance Central because, I have an Xbox One, and she wanted to play Just Dance. I didn't have Just Dance. I was like, this is what I have. I can't find my Kinect for the 360, so I had to use Dance Central Spotlight, which now none of the Dance Centrals are backwards compatible with the new Kinect, which just lovely. And also, none of the new Just Dance games work with the Kinect. You got to literally use your phone. But guess what? The app doesn't work if you're on Xbox One. It's only for Xbox Series X. So if you buy the newest Just Dance, which they will let you purchase through the store, knowing that you are connecting to the store on an Xbox One, they'll still take your money, and then you can't actually play the game. It is impossible for you to play the game on an Xbox One right now. All previous versions that you could download, no longer. You have to get the Just Dance 2024 edition. Can't play it on Xbox One. But they will take your $25. So I had to go and beg for a refund. So I begged Microsoft for a refund for not just Dance 2024, but also for the Usher dance pack for Dance Central Spotlight, because the game doesn't fucking exist anymore, basically. So they gave me the refund for Just Dance, but not the Usher pack. So they took my $3.49. I'm just never seeing that again. And why is the store for Dance Central Spotlight still available on the Microsoft website when they know it is a game that it's not no more service. Servers are gone.
Yep. It is that game is completely unplayable except in its base form.
Yes. Less songs. It only has 19 songs and it launched with 25. So it's not even in the base form.
You want to know what the issue is? The US people do not have an appreciation for dance games.
Well, I'm mad that they developed this whole technology, made me spend $150 on it, and then didn't give me anything to use it with. What am I supposed to use the Kinect for?
It was there for fucking dance games.
And then they're just like, oh yeah, we're not really doing that anymore. Did you buy it? Ew.
I don't want to play dance games unless my moves get recorded. I don't want to use the controller. That makes no fucking sense.
Now they're like, you got to use your phone. But guess what? My phone is old as shit. So I can't even do that. Even if I had an Xbox Series X.
Listen, my nigga, I do not want to pair my phone with some random ass company just to play a motherfucking dance game. I'm so pissed about this bullshit with the Kinect because bitches would be like, oh, but it's going to record your stuff. You have an Alexa in your house. Go fuck yourself.
Pretty much. And first of all, if you have a cell phone, shut up about the Kinect.
Right. No, people were already like seriously, people were bitching nonstop about the Kinect and be like, it records. And every single one of those people literally got an Alexa or a Google Home. I shit you not. every single person I know who to my face was just like complaining about it. And I'm also just like, you also have webcams. If you have a webcam, it is also an issue. Guess what anybody can fucking do? Goddamn piece. Like we have traded privacy for convenience. Why couldn't we have just had the Connect in our fucking dance games?
Well, because music licensing was very expensive and they're just not paying that.
Right. But music licensing is expensive, but they also would have found a way to work around it if people weren't being dicks.
All right.
I'm still mad that
I
we lost.
blame the consumer base for this one. I'm sorry.
Well, Twitch Sings, I think it was pretty much the same thing. They didn't want to pay for the licensing because we weren't making them enough money.
Okay, but like nobody was using that shit.
There was a whole community of people that were on Twitch Sings. It was it had its own tag. Like it was very popular.
Oh, wait, no. Amazon sorry, I was thinking of something else. I wasn't thinking of Twitch Sings. I was thinking there were some other singing games that came out specifically on console and you had a little microphone for
Just Sing or whatever.
Yeah, that's I brain fucked it up. But yes, no, that's just Amazon being greedy.
Yes.
Amazon totally could have worked with the licensing on it. Amazon already has ways to work with the licensing on it. Like Amazon as a fucking company, they sell music. They fucking sell music. They also could have like created some music that people could have worked with that would have gone around the licensing issue. They just didn't want to do it because it's fucking Amazon.
Yeah.
Now that we've worked up a nice lather, in 5.
There's your fucking sound test, Aaron.
In fucking 5, fucking 4, fucking 3, fucking 2, fucking 1.
Go ahead, stand up, stand up, stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up.
Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of AddSpace. I'm your fucking host, Aaron fucking Freeman. God damn it. But now with me, the actual fucking host of this fucking show, the CEO, the goddamn owner, and the fucking proprietor, lead motherfucking therapist, goddamn head artist, social media fucking manager, travel czar, Elise Bacon. How are you?
Well, now that you're making fun of me, I'm just gonna go home. Goodbye. I'm sorry, I'm not recording anymore. Let me just I'm hanging up.
I wasn't making fun of you. I was getting into character. Everyone got all lathered up talking about getting sold defunct rhythm games, and I got into it, and all of a sudden I'm making fun of people. Like, it's a legitimate grievance, but y'all got legit fired up about it. I'm fired up about it. We're all fired up about it. I'm not making fun of anyone. That shit costs money.
No one understands me like Najela understands me when it comes to music games.
And being abandoned.
Nobody understands me like Najela. Najela, I'm so glad you're here. Also with us is one of my other most favorite people who probably less fired up. I don't know. That last football game sounded tragic. Justin, how are you?
I mean, I am fired up. I just exhibit my flame in different ways. But this is a special occasion. This is a first in AddSpace history. Do you know what is happening today that has never happened in AddSpace before?
It's the first of nigga month, and we're here.
I'm genuinely, I'm invested. What?
What?
This is the first time that Jayla and I have been on a podcast together.
Oh my God! How have you guys kept missing each other?
Oh my God!
Not just AddSpace. In all of the podcasts we have all guested on, with all of the friends that we share, this is the first time that we have actually been on a podcast together. So, momentous occasion for all.
Yeah.
Holy shit! This goes down in history. My two favorite people on the same show together.
We are starting off Black History Month with a bang.
The blackest of blackest. We are all in here.
There's on them big tablespoons of niggas. Like, not a little pinch. Tablespoon, bro. You got to take the other spoon and
this is niggaversity.
I'm feeling very like affirmed by this because I was talking to somebody else I was doing another recording, and I was talking about being unambiguously black, and my mom started laughing, uh, and was like, "Really?" And just walked out of the room with a chuckle.
That's
So,
so mean.
yeah. So that's how I
Unambiguously.
started Black History Month.
Wait,
No, we're starting Black History Month with a diverse cast of blackety blacks
we do got a lot of black people from a lot of places.
and a lot of demographics.
It's true. We've got
Oh,
a lot of-
I killed a chat earlier because there's like a focus channel, and I'm not gonna lie, like sometimes it gets off focus, but I have been not code switching, and I forgot where I was, and I was like, wait, hold on, give me a second. My phone is at light skin percentages, and kind of killed the room. It was at 4% though.
I mean, you don't charge your phone.
I did get yelled at to charge my phone, and I did.
I mean-
It is now at a full 96%. So it is also ready for Black History Month.
You're gonna try and make it last all the way to the end of the month. You're not charging it no more. You're gonna go light skin.
Never. I'm not charging it for the rest of the month. This is it for the month.
That's the light skin 10K.
So if I'm not answering text messages, you know why.
We're gonna call that the light skin 10K. We'll see how long you can use your phone without charging it.
Light skin 10K.
And see how long you can go. So, yeah, there you go. There is a whole program. I mean, I don't know. The whole being sold defunct, unusable music games is it's a problem with all eShops, I find. Especially the PlayStation and the Microsoft one have major problems communicating the validity of the thing you're going to buy if it's too far away from them. And I don't know what we do about
Microsoft doesn't even try.
it.
They won't even tell you that the game you're buying isn't compatible with your system until you're trying to install it. So they'll take your money and be like, "Oh, you're trying to actually play this game? You can't."
Yeah.
Dummy.
Yeah, I don't. Those peripheral games, like I don't know. They look confusing. Like when I see them, that's like because they always come in a stack. When you look and you scroll through the sales, it's like all of a sudden a music game, and then like 41 songs are on sale, and it looks terrifying. So I know nothing about it. So if they are scamming you, then let the people know and try to bring together other people who have been wronged by the Microsoft store selling defunct rhythm games.
Let me tell you what Microsoft did. I have a young cousin. Music is in her heart. She wants to dance, enjoy life, tra-la-la, etc. So I say, I will indulge this interest and you could play a dance game because I know that I have all the Dance Centrals. And then I realize none of the Dance Central games are backwards compatible anymore. All of them gone. So all that music that I bought, gone. All that I have access to is Dance Central Spotlight, which is a game that is no longer being serviced. Like the store is down, the server's down. It is an abandoned game, basically. Only offline capabilities abandoned. Microsoft will still say, "Oh, you were playing Dance Central Spotlight? Well, would you like to purchase these songs if you go onto the Microsoft store?" So I bought me for $3.49 some Usher songs, the Usher pack. There's no way to download those songs that I purchased anymore because the game is no longer being serviced. And today, I tried to get a refund and they denied the refund. No explanation. I tried to get a refund for 2 games because I tried to get Just Dance 2024, which is only for the Xbox Series X, which they don't tell you if you purchase it in the Microsoft Store on an Xbox One. So I was going to get me a little refund. They kept my $3.49. And I think that's some bullshit. Why are you still selling songs that nobody could access? Because I guess Microsoft thinks since I purchased the songs and they gave me the songs, even though I have no way to download them into a functional playable state, I still own them, so they won't give me a refund, and that makes my blood boil. I want blood or something as repentance for this crime, this insult.
You hear that, America? Rise up. I mean, all seriousness, like, it's actually quite annoying. It's very confusing, and like I said, they kind of hover in this dead zone because I see, like, it might be just a problem across all music games that required a peripheral that's been abandoned. So it might be like a widespread problem that might need like a genuine, honest to God, no trolling spotlight on it, because it's just burning through the money if you need to use it. And if you're playing a rhythm game, you're not really necessarily adhering to keeping up with a new console. It's a fucking dance game. So
yeah,
right.
And I feel I was one of the few idiots who bought a Kinect as soon as it was available for the Xbox One.
But it made sense.
Yeah.
At the time, yes, it made sense.
Yeah, they were trying to make it a thing.
And then they decided, oh, yeah, we're not going to like support this thing anymore. But thanks for the $150. And so there's no games that use it. Doesn't work on the next generation. So games that you would think would have Kinect capability do not.
Yeah, I think Microsoft announced they're abandoning it, but the extent to which they are abandoning it has not been explained in detail, and that's there are a lot of dead spots in
that one actually was, because I was really upset about it, because I am and have always been a Kinect advocate, because I really like rhythm games, and I think playing a rhythm game with a controller is jank. Like, what is the point of playing a dance game with your controller if you are capable of moving your body,
right,
and want to dance?
Or worse, now for Just Dance, they want you to put your phone into an app. I mean, like, you control it by holding your phone and having this app open. That's how it knows if you're doing the move. And I just, honestly, I do not have a Series X, so I have not tried the new Just Dance. That does not seem fun or accurate to me. How do you know I'm doing the dances? You just be waving that thing like mad, and it's going to tell you whatever.
I mean...
Oh, wait, you're just supposed to hold your phone? Like, it's not even like using the camera to track you?
So there's no camera to track you. It's your phone. So you're holding it, and how you move, it's tracking your movement. So
it can only track your arm. It can only really track your arm movement. It can't like track like your dance. Yeah, I don't.
Which is why if you look at the new Just Dance, like all the dancers have like a glove on that's glowing, because that's the hand that's being tracked that you're supposed to be holding the phone in. So it's not like your other part of your body. Like, I guess it's just whatever. Just do your best, but it's supposed to tell. So they say they could tell that you're doing the dance right. And I just feel like that, I call bullshit.
I mean,
yeah, I've done that because like before the Kinect came out, that's how you had to do it. Like, and if you played Just Dance like on the PlayStation, that's how you had to do it before they came out with here's these little move things. Because they were trying to copy the Wii, so they made like motion controllers.
Oh, yeah, those little ice cream things, ice cream scoops.
Yes,
I remember
those were specifically for rhythm games. But Sony discontinued that as well because so there's a couple this is a thing where I kind of blame everybody for, in part. Like, there's like all this cool technology and stuff, and like Sony and Microsoft did give dev kits out, and they just didn't, like, these studios just didn't utilize the dev kits. Like, they didn't. So it's the same with the Kinect. Like, a lot of them didn't have, like, there wasn't a lot of Kinect support because nobody was interested in being fucking creative. which was a similar issue with touchscreen games for a long time. Like even with the Switch, when you think of the Switch, how many games have touchscreen capabilities of it? It's not that they don't have the stuff for it.
Right.
They just actively choose not to develop for that thing. That is an active choice to like not take stuff into account. Like I believe Fable had specifically some Kinect stuff, and it was kind of cool. There was an issue with like black players because they didn't test it on black people, because why do black people play video games? What black people play video games? None of us here, surely.
None of us.
I don't play video games. I don't play rhythm games. Do black people even dance?
So the Kinect also is not great if you have large breasts, because it will ultimately be confused with your boobs and your arms to see which one is the extremity that's supposed to be doing the dance.
What are breasts of men? And these people have never seen real breasts, Najela. They weren't tested with women or women or bodies that have breasts. They're just like, hey, John, can we just use you to like do some rhythm moments over here? Like, it's fine. What do you mean get Tabitha? Tabitha doesn't play these games. Tabitha doesn't play games. They just work at marketing.
Oh my god. Well, maybe there is like proper PC support for these peripherals so that like
there's not.
No, it doesn't work at all.
I'm talking about like through like emulators and hacks and stuff like that. I'm not saying like proper PC support. I mean like pirate PC support. It's like the same way some folks get like light guns to work. And no one makes light guns anymore.
There, for the Kinect and like the new stuff, there is an adapter that you can get to make the Kinect work with it.
Right.
It's really hard to find because it's specifically targeting the extremely niche audience that's me and Najela. So there's not that many, and the audience has bought them all up.
You
I was
literally
specifically
have to get an adapter to get the Kinect.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
second generation Kinect to work with the Xbox One. I don't think you
Yes.
can even get an adapter to get it to work with a Series X.
Probably unlikely. Yeah, I mean possibly because
I think so, because I think it's the same connector. Because it's specifically to work with like the new Xboxes. Because we had this problem, and they specifically said no, there's no connection for the Kinect with either of these consoles, and people were like, "But my games." Yeah, no.
I guess that's why they solved the problem. Just like, oh well, you can't play those games, so there's no Dance Central for you.
Right. No, it's really infuriating. I blame everybody for it, and I'm sure Aaron's gonna use the rant pre-show as the opening to the show.
I mean, to be clear, I actually would like to know there's no way, like, here's the deal. There's one thing I've learned now that I'm like going backwards and forwards in time is there's a big chunk of people who like older stuff that kind of gets abandoned. And there's more people speaking up more about it all the time. So it's like, there has to be people who are figuring out how to use a Kinect on a Series X. Like I'm looking right now and the adapters exist, for example. So like,
yeah.
So I'm like, there has to be some proper support for y'all.
I wonder, what are they playing on the Series X?
I mean, I assume they're playing the backwards compatible Kinect games. There are still a handful of Kinect games that still work on Series X. Big chunk of them. I see them there. I don't have a Kinect, so I'm like, all right, but they're there. You can play them. Especially the first party Microsoft games, a big wall of them can play, are backwards compatible. So it's just a matter of getting the Kinect to work on your Series X, which apparently can be done, which we should get you a Series X. I know you enjoy, a very bohemian gamer lifestyle, but
I play Crackdown and I play Skyrim.
Right. However, it's like saying I drive a car, right? But the car you drive still needs to be upgraded, even if the functional sentence is I drive a car. The car still needs to change periodically. Same thing with the stove. Same thing with the microwave, oven,
I don't know. I
light
think we learned
bulbs.
from how long I've had my cell phone.
I
I don't think I agree with that sentiment.
I understand.
Your cell phone is included in this conversation.
Listen, in no way am I asking you to do all of this overnight. That's why it's a process. We are working together. I am in no way nudging or shoving you in a direction. We're just massaging the ideas in. And like maybe around Thanksgiving, we'll return to it and see if your opinions on the matter have changed. You are not under the gun. Just, we're talking about it. That's all. We're workshopping it, coming together, compromising as a group for Black History Month.
What I want is for Microsoft to give me my goddamn $3.49 or let me play my goddamn Usher songs in Dance Central Spotlight. That is what I want. Those are my list of demands.
Okay. There is an actual honest to God.
I'm not giving Microsoft any more of my money. Do you know what it feels like to want to play a game and purchase a console and wait 6 years for a game to come out? And that game is just hot ass and unfinished. And they're never going to make good on the premise of that game.
You described like 15
That's
games.
That's what Microsoft did to me.
You described 15 games. What game are you talking about?
Yeah,
I'm talking about Crackdown 3.
How
long I waited.
So I knew from Najela context, Najela was talking about Crackdown, but I also had the same thought as Aaron as what game, because I'm gonna be real, Destiny fell into that one for me.
Right. Everyone has a game like that for them, so you have to be more specific.
I'm still salty about Scalebound.
I think for me, Destiny's greatest crime isn't that it's bad. Right? Like Destiny is a functional game. It plays, or at least when I played it, it played well. It was not unfinished in a technical sense. Destiny's greatest sin to me was I didn't feel like they put the effort in. Right? Like the last straw for me was when they released the Endless Forest. Curse
of Osiris. Lost. Everybody got lost on Curse of Osiris.
And it's not even like narratively.
Osiris made no goddamn sense.
It's a good story. But
narratively, I got what they were doing. Functionally and technically, the things they did, I was like, this should be like in the game, just in the game. These should just be things that exist within the game. And they're not. And that's what turned me off from it. What keeps me from going back to Destiny is I've experienced what a real MMO is that embraces the fact that it's an MMO. And I'm like, I can't go back now. Like, I'm sure Destiny is fine. Like, I'm sure it has fixed my issues with it.
They swapped out. So the problem with Destiny 2 when it launched was that it was actively trying not to be an MMO. The director, everyone said it wasn't. They've ejected those people into space years ago. And now people are like, yes, this is an MMO. Even to the point where it's the response to people who complain about whatever they have to grind in the game. This is an MMO. Sorry, Brad. Go play the game. Or not. Sorry. So you're right. It was absolutely the biggest problem with the game. Also, I would like them to put into canon how many Guardians stood in front of the entrance to the Infinite Forest to only be told they have no more access to it at all, given narratively what it was. How many Guardians stormed off the set? That was like a whole police blockade. It lost so many people, including myself. I played Monster Hunter World for a full year afterwards.
Same.
But yeah,
actually.
Right.
That's where I moved right on to Monster Hunter. I was so mad.
I remember when I had done Curse of Osiris and I said, cool. And I walked up to the Infinite Forest. I was like, I wonder what they got in here. And I went up there and I was like, and I was with a buddy and I was like, hey, can you press X on this? He's like, nah. I was like, hey, go to the corner. Press X on the corner. And he was like, no. All right, let's step a little bit away from it. Let's step a little bit away from it. Press X. We were like, I don't think. And then I went online and people were like, you can't go into the Infinite Forest. You get like 3 lame story missions and you can't replay any of the campaign. Yeah, people were mad. That was it. I lost everybody.
My issue was because Destiny 1 ended on such a fucking high note. The community was engaged. There was like, I was so excited for Destiny 2 until I was hearing stuff coming out of the beta. And then I was like, oh no,
Right.
And then I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like this, and I am very concerned. And then like Aaron was there. Aaron was like rooting for me. Aaron was just like, well, maybe, and I'm like, I don't know, buddy.
Well,
And then Destiny 2 comes out, and I realized after I think of a couple months in that every lesson that they learned in Destiny 1,
yes,
they abandoned. They abandoned it completely. So playing Destiny 2 to me felt exactly like when Destiny 1 first dropped, because I played Destiny 1 for a solid like year to 2 years, and then I dropped it, and then I picked it back up again when Aaron got me reinterested in it, and then I was playing with both Aaron and then with the PlayStation Space Wakanda with you, LJ. And I was having a fucking blast, and they learned so much. And so I did not want to pay money for them, because I know all of the DLC and the season passes cost money. I knew what's going to happen, because they did the same process with Destiny 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did not want to spend money for them to relearn all the same lessons that they learned with Destiny 1 and what worked and what didn't. And then to realize that they were an MMO. And I just did not want to spend money for them to relearn all of those lessons they should have already incorporated.
Yeah.
That was my entire issue. I've never regretted that decision.
It was a weird thing, because the honest thing seemed to be they didn't want the pressure of balancing an MMO. Like when Destiny 2 came out, it seemed as though they were trying desperately to avoid the lore of Destiny 1 and the balancing adventure that Destiny 1 became as it became bigger and bigger. And they were trying to actively avoid it to the point where they were kind of insulting the player base a little bit. And then they just lost us. Like they were really trying to slide by. And and now we're at the point where something like Destiny 2 would work because we don't want to play any more live service games. Yay, we're done with them. Yay, no more. Yay. Or is it just Suicide Squad?
We're done with live. What?
That's what Suicide. That is the message. That is the message that has been delivered. Suicide Squad came out. Remember they announced it last year, and they were like, and people were like, "Is this a live service game, nigga?" And they were like, "No, not at all. No, it's not a live service game at all. We're just gonna." And then they threw the tarp over it and drove it away for a year, and then they brought it back now. And they've shaved off as much live service game as they can possibly manage to shave off of it, because it's just in the DNA of the game. They shaved it down to it's pretty much bald and shiny and reflective. There's like, I think it's like you have to be online.
I think they took the wrong lesson. This doesn't make any sense. Okay. Sorry, continue.
This happened with Gotham Knights. Like literally the exact same process happened with Gotham Knights. You can see the bones of Marvel's Avengers in Gotham Knights,
right? But
they ran away from the live service part.
Right. They didn't shave off enough of it because the game itself still didn't play. It still played too much like a live service game, and possibly so. Right. Like I said, and it's like it seems as though they've done a better job here of shaving it down, but that's the message: is we don't want to do this anymore, and I hope it's received, because Suicide Squad seems to be, if it was like Guardians of the Galaxy, would have been to me, my favorite superhero game. if it was on rails and not a live service game where you kind of do the same 12 missions over and over again. And it's, again, that's fine, but
I think there's like, how do I put this? So I think there's like I think people want to call like all online only games like live service games.
Well, I mean, what they wanted to do with Suicide Squad was live service, like.
Well, no, I get it. But like, what I'm saying is like, if you're gonna make a live service game, you need to go all in. Like, you can't just do like if you're doing like the same 12 missions and then just replay over and over again. Like, I don't think that's a true like live service. That's just a cash grab. Like, it's a live service cash grab, if that makes sense. Um,
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you
But
mean.
isn't that what that game is? Because I haven't watched a lot of the gameplay because it was mostly just people like yelling and
'Cause-
being upset, and I'm just not into that. But it seemed like all like the whole game, like people playing through the whole game, and it's only like 10 hours, which is not that long for
Yeah,
a
I
full
think
price AAA game.
I think I think the issue isn't like necessarily live service game, but live service cash grabs.
Right. You
Because
mean,
like there's
oh, you mean
if
like
you make a good live service game, people will just play it. People actually like doing that. People like playing games with their friends.
I can't tell whether this is. I think so. I am willing to. So this is a theory that I'm working on. Is that we like to play live service games. We like to play unfolding adventures, but we don't want to play them as existing characters that have incredible deep roots. So like the best live service games, the ones that take off, whether it's the indie game that randomly takes off, or whatever, it's always a game where you can kind of tell your own story, even if it's in like an established world like Final Fantasy. There's something about leveling up Wolverine and Spider-Man and Harley Quinn that doesn't stick. And I think that's because the story already exists. There's no place for your own narrative playing as Harley Quinn and King Shark outside of the 30 hours where you take your edible with your homie and play as Harley Quinn and Twin and King Shark.
I don't know why they didn't do.
Go ahead.
I
No,
was
go
saying,
ahead.
I think I would have been more interested in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League if you got to just do a character creator and you leveled up that character.
Right.
Because I mean, narratively, there's always a rando on the Suicide Squad. You just would be the red shirt. Like,
You mean City of Villains?
yeah. but with like you actually get to play your super villain with Harley Quinn and King Shark and everybody. I don't see how that would have changed the game that much, but I think it would have made it more enjoyable.
So it's like balance because the story is interesting because I am playing as Harley Quinn, but I have no desire to level up Harley Quinn for 500 hours. But if I play as a dude and I didn't die, and that's like the gag is I have made it through the first 20 minutes of a Suicide Squad anything, then the story suffers because it's like Cole for Mortal Kombat. I'm here and I'm experiencing the story, but I'm also fucking Cole. And his presence, while it is a cool avatar for us to like exist in the world, we're also fucking Cole for Mortal Kombat. That sucks a little. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I don't like, it's like this Harley Quinn kills Batman, and it's actually a very interesting scene where she tries to apply a lot of ceremony. She won't let anyone carry his body but her. She lugs that shit around. She sits him down. He starts talking his shit because he's, you know, he's brainwashed. He starts lobbing insults that the Joker lobs at her, and she shoots him. And she calls him out for it, and he laughs, and then she shoots him because that's the thing. Like, that's what the thing people get mad at. But like, if Cole's in the background there, if I'm Cole just standing there, then it's like, okay, you know? And it's kind of the problem here is there's a really good live service game where you play as Cole in the Suicide Squad, or a really good story where you play as the Suicide Squad and you don't have to level anything up. In both of those games,
Yeah.
they're like human centipeded together, and a lot of folks don't like it.
So,
Yeah.
And
I want to touch on two things there. Harley Quinn killing Batman, by the way. I don't even know if that's a spoiler because it's the premise of the game.
it's the premise
You're
of the
going to kill
game.
Batman.
It's the premise of the game. The Justice League says so on the fucking can. Fuck.
Price is on the can. That scene is so well done, and it is such a narrative loop for Harley Quinn. Seeing people get mad at that and saying it disrespects Kevin Conroy when he gives one of his better performances
Yes, he
as a
does.
brainwashed
Yeah.
Batman,
Yes, he does.
like, that is a perfect end for Harley Quinn's feud with Batman.
Yep.
That he has evolved into a lesser Joker, someone that she has already dealt with, and she's not even mad. She's just, you're supposed to be better than this.
Right. You have to go. And you have to go, and you wouldn't disagree. If you were in your right mind, Bruce, you wouldn't disagree.
And that, again, like, narratively, that is such a well done point. I do feel like the Spider-Man games have struck the balance of taking an established character giving you just enough to start with so that you don't feel like you're Wolverine learning how to use your claws, but also give you a reward for playing the game by expanding on the tool that you have.
Right.
Like when you Spider-Man 2, when you start, I thought I was gonna have to earn the wings. The first scene, the first set piece in Spider-Man 2 is use the wings. I was like, oh, so they're just giving me this. They give you all the tools out front and they say, cool, as you go through the game, you can level up these tools. You can unlock skills because skills are unlocked at certain plot points as you know, the characters themselves are making things happen. It's like, hey, I made this thing. Now I can use this ability. And it feels natural. Like it feels like natural growth. It doesn't feel like what you said with Suicide Squad, where it's like, I'm leveling up Harley Quinn for 500 hours for stuff that you should already know how to do.
You know what it is because Spider-Man ends. If Suicide Squad ended, I bet you they could design a similar game where because there's an organic powering up of the squad in ability, like they get abilities to fight the Justice League. Like they are covered, and by the time end of the game, they have like anti-Speed Force gauntlets and golden kryptonite, like literally tied with rope and wire around their body so Superman can't touch them. You know what I mean? So like there's a natural organic growth that if the game ended in 20 to 30 hours would be very cool and you'd be able to expand on it. But because the game is designed to like perpetually exist, it's kind of like if Destiny ended, like Mass Effect Andromeda. Like if Destiny was 65 hours, imagine the story that could be visually told by your Guardian if Destiny ended in 60 hours. You see what I'm saying? So the fact that it doesn't end changes the gaming design inherently, which is kind of the problem people have with it. So, and Spider-Man is a good point. Spider-Man, I put 60 hours in Spider-Man. I wouldn't have wanted to put 500 hours in Spider-Man. The growth of Miles and Pete, like organically as characters and movesets, and it's fucking superb. But I think this is because the game ends.
If you want to make a live service game, you need to handle the narrative differently.
Yeah, but like I said,
I saw one clip. I don't know if this is a spoiler because it was just a random clip where they were like, we have to kill 13 Brainiacs. So I guess like every season you kill a Brainiac or something, and I'm like,
that's the
13.
Hook. Well, that's
way
right?
Too many.
Well,
they should have said like 1 or 2 and like keep adding them, but to presume 13 seasons of this game.
It's like big Shenmue energy. Shenmue energy. You throwing out a high number there, Chief. What was that number? 13? That's an ambitious. Say that again. 1 and 3, nigga. Okay. Good luck. Good luck out there.
Yeah, I literally saw that and I was like, oh, I don't.
Also, that's another thing I don't understand why people are mad about how they treated the Justice League, because it pops open the Elseworld. So like the Justice League aren't dead, just the same way in the multiverse characters aren't quite dead. So it's like they're bringing in the Joker from another universe as DLC because they have to go to other universes to kill their Brainiac. So the Justice League aren't as dead as we think anyway. So fuck it.
Yeah.
It's a little.
And this technically is also an Elseworld world.
Yes.
So.
Right.
Like,
so it's like, you know, people.
Justice League you love, they're still there.
They're still they're somewhere. Yeah, there's still a Justice League somewhere cooking.
Here's the other thing.
You know what would make them money? Sorry.
No, go ahead. What would make the money?
If they had special DSC, you get to kill the Snyderverse Justice League.
So I'm glad you brought that up. The people that love injustice and the people that love the Murderverse are the ones the most upset that the Justice League die in this. And I'm like, this is the logical conclusion of what you want in your storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you want.
I have a word for you right now, Justin. That word is literacy.
But they didn't kill a lot of the Justice League in Injustice. If you think about it, a lot of them got locked up or depowered or taken off the field, except for like, I can think of maybe 3 of them. Nobody really ended up in the ground. This is in the game. You are killing the like they die, and then their bodies get desecrated. Apparently,
it's fine. Their bodies don't get they literally don't. They just get shot in the head. The only person that gets moved around is Batman, because Batman gets taken. He's not killed immediately. He's actually, you beat him and then he's badly injured and you take him to Lex Luthor. and then you take him out of there, and then there's a scene on the park bench with Harley.
Oh.
And it's no, but like I said,
well, spoiler warnings. I saw somebody complaining that the Flash his corpse got peed on. Does that not happen?
because Boomerang
no,
peed
it
on his
doesn't
body
happen.
because that's Boomerang. He's gonna pee on the Flash's corpse if he dies. Like, yeah.
No, so Boomerang tries to, but they stop him from doing it. And the whole joke of that
Oh.
is, Boomerang has a big dick. Like that whole setup is for
yeah.
Boomerang has a big dick.
Yeah,
That's the setup of
I
that.
don't love that.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
King Shark is like
That's actually really funny.
right. He's like, oh, it's good
I
to
don't
see.
like it.
He said they were like, Deadshot was like, oh, it's good for you, and then King Shark is like, they've cursed you in so many ways. It's good to see there's some balance. They've cursed you in so many ways.
Speaking of the good of
Okay,
this
never
show,
mind.
Samoa Joe.
was worth it for that joke.
It's worth it.
Samoa
Oh,
Joe,
God.
AEW
This
World
might be my
Heavyweight
favorite
Champion.
incarnation.
Yes,
This might be my favorite incarnation of King Shark. He is just so perfect.
he is.
I didn't know this was a thing I needed. Or how does the quote go? Never before have I known that I needed a thing so badly until I've received it.
Right. It's King Shark, Samoa Joe, AEW World Heavyweight Champion. He's also fucking Sweet Tooth. So,
Really?
yeah, he's the body of Sweet Tooth. To be clear, he could be the voice of Sweet
okay.
Tooth, but Will Arnett is the voice of Sweet Tooth. But they played Sweet Tooth for
Okay,
comedy in the
fair.
Twisted Metal show. They played the Twisted Metal show plays the first two Twisted Metals and not Twisted Metal Black. So it plays them for
Okay.
comedy. So they have Will Arnett's
Oh.
voice and Samoa Joe's body, but they could use Samoa Joe's voice if they ever like did Twisted Metal Black Sweet Tooth. He sounds 1-to-1 like dark Sweet Tooth, so he could do both of those things. I'm a Samoa Joe fan, so now I'm fan personing out. So anyone can just mute my microphone at any moment. It's fine. I can't. I'm just gonna
Well,
go ahead.
I have not seen the Twisted Metal show yet, but I was expecting Twisted Metal Black. Thank you for
No.
giving me that warning.
They
Because I
might.
feel like I would.
So the first one is they're doing Twisted Metal 1 and they're doing Twisted Metal 1 and 2. So it's kookier and it's kooky dark, not dark. Just like I said, I understand. Like I said, once you make the adjustment and understand they're not doing Twisted Metal Black, then it's great. But if you go in there thinking you're going to do Twisted Metal Black, it's almost annoying. But you have to understand, like, Twisted Metal wasn't Twisted Metal Black. The best one was black, but the first one was goofy. It's goofy 90s nonsense.
remember.
Yeah. so it was it's great. It's back to Anthony Mackie's best role. In fact, it should be his only role. Just it should be. That was rude. That was rude. I'm sorry, guys. That
The
was
way
rude. I'm
international
sorry.
politics are going, I don't know if we're getting that next Captain America movie.
The way what?
Yo,
What's going on?
how much is Disney going to stall? Because they're like, yeah, Black Captain America. Oh, y'all have stopped caring about the black things.
Well, I think it's more the IDF character, Sabra, named after a massacre.
Yeah.
So, and like in the comics, she is a villain, just straight up villain, has to learn to not massacre Palestinian children from the Hulk of all people.
Yeah, the Hulk has to lecture her on empathy.
Yeah.
Oh, they can't bring that movie out at all. That sucks.
Nope.
Oh wow.
cannot.
They can't bring that movie out at all. That's
They're
crazy.
screwed no matter how they play it. Because if they give you the comic character, like the comic accurate character, that's gonna be spicy, and
Oof.
Big Daddy military is not gonna like that.
Ooh.
And then if they change it, the public is gonna hate that. So, and I feel like they already like fucked up the Flag Smashers. So I don't know.
Oh wow, I didn't realize. I didn't realize. Oh, that's why. Okay, because I read that they were taking all the Flag Smasher scenes out of the movie. Because Seth Rollins, another wrestler, is in one of the flag, and they took all the scenes out of the movie, and I was like, I wonder why. I didn't follow up. I was like, oh, that's a shame. And that's what. Oh, I see. Oh.
The whole
Daddy
keep your
military
politics
will
out of my-
not. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not only Daddy Military, the whole keep your politics out of my comics crowd is going to, well, one, how could you go to a Captain America movie and have that mentality?
Yeah.
I don't know how you can see any superhero or Avengers, any superhero, anything. All of the superhero, every fucking single superhero is made around something that is inherently political. people, it's not, you know what, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go on a small rant here. It has nothing to do with politics whatsoever. It's, I just don't want to hear about things that I don't care about or don't like.
Yep.
I mean, it's always been that. It's not, and it's so fucking ridiculous because, like, when you get down to like what politics is, like everything is fucking everything is about politics. It's just like how people act in a society with their government. Like that's fucking it. Like it's like people think like, oh, like it's this big like thing, but it's really basic. It's very simple. Our whole lives are like governed by it. Like it's just about people and governance. That's it. That's it.
Yeah,
Simple.
but when they say, well, I don't want the politics, what they want to say is, don't be nigging up my shit.
Oh yeah, no, that's why I said it's specifically about stuff they don't want to hear about or they don't like. So they don't like niggas, they don't like women, they don't like queer people, they don't like thinking.
Yeah,
but,
that's
like,
it right there. That bit right there.
I'm like, go read a romance novel.
Well, I don't like that either because that's
listen, just like go read porn and have like, you know, try to think about how your porn's trying to get taken away by conservatives and the government, because like I don't know what to tell you. Like, why are you in comics? That is literally how comics were made, and all these characters were too. Even the I just wanted to make a character that people didn't really have to think about. Like if you're writing a story, you're gonna have to write something complex. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's not politics when it's white men doing white mending things.
Right.
And yeah, it's totally not politics when it's like, you know, like
If
white
Lady
men are
Pretty,
catching
no.
criminals. Like that's
No.
not a whole political thing.
No, don't think. Just
also-
absorb.
It's
And
also not
consume.
political to have an open world game where you capture animals and have them work for you, and the opposing faction is a PETA knockoff trying to liberate.
Yes, segue into Edgelord Pokemon. Let's go. Segue of the month goes to Justin. And we're just started. This is February 1st, and Justin gets segue of the month. Let's give a shout out for Justin.
Just masterful.
You tee it up. I gotta set it. I gotta you tee it up for him. I'm gonna knock it out. So okay. I have a lot of thoughts on Pal World. I am not equipped to talk about how Pal World was made. I'm not equipped to talk about if it uses AI or not, because frankly, I haven't done the research to know if it uses AI or not. So if you're looking for that discussion from me in particular, I'm not gonna have it because I don't know anything about it. But here's what I do want to talk about with Pal World. The discourse around Pal World for me, I've largely seen is people saying this is what Pokemon should be. And it has led me to the conclusion, you don't like Pokemon.
They don't.
Because Pal World is not Pokemon. Pal
It's
World
not.
is Arc. Pal World is Arc survival with a Pokemon aesthetic. That's what you want. You don't want Pokemon games. You want games with Pokemon aesthetics. Right? Like Arceus. Arceus at its core is a Zelda game with Pokemon licensing. That's what you want. Because the Pokemon loop is always going to be the same. It's always going to be catch Pokemon, battle gym leaders, become champion, post game. That's always going to be the Pokemon loop. If that loop doesn't appeal to you, then you don't like Pokemon. You may like the Pokemon aesthetic, but as a game, you don't like Pokemon. And that's fine if you don't like Pokemon. But don't pretend that Pal World is giving you the Pokemon game you wanted. No, this game already exists in better form with dinosaurs. It's Arc.
It's literally Arc.
So that frustrates me when I see that. And then they say, oh, well, this is giving us Pokemon with friends. I'm like, no, Scarlet and Violet gave you that. Like some of my best memories with Scarlet and Violet are playing with Bacon and Leaf, and we're roaming the open world doing our own thing. Leaf finds a Pokemon that I wanted, Rilo, and Leaf's like, yo, this thing is over here. I'm like, bet. I run over there. I catch it. They're watching me. They're celebrating, cheering me on. I'm like, yo, when I played Pokemon Red and Blue as a kid, this is what I was pretending to do with my little brother. Now we can actually do that. Like that's me.
Meanwhile, I was on the complete other side of the map, lost and having no idea what the fuck I was doing.
That's also something I don't think Scarlet and Violet gets enough credit for. The way it handles simultaneous multiplayer, all players can exist on the same map doing completely different things and not interfere with each other.
Yep. And I love that you can, like, if somebody's like having a gym battle, you can watch it. Like, I really like that. I mean, like, I can watch my homie and cheer them on. Like, I really love that.
And like, there's actual, like, you actually have the cheer emote you can do. Like, yeah,
It's so cute. Like, that is so good.
that is one thing I do miss from Sword and Shield. The
stadium battles, like, they were so hype.
Right, like the spectacle with gym battles. Like they felt like sporting events. Like they felt grandiose.
Yes,
I just want Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah, Pokemon Stadium. Yes.
Valid.
I want that. I had fun. I had my little dudes. I leveled them up. I showed them off. Peak Pokemon experience. And apparently, nobody else agrees with me because they don't make them. So.
That is so weird to me though, because I remember when Pokemon Stadium dropped. Like I remember buying that piece for my N64 where you could put the Pokemon you captured into the N64. Like I remember that. I was like, "Yo, this is dope." And they had like the
it felt like a culmination
tower
of your experience.
Yes. Nah, bring Stadium back. Like Stadium is dope.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel like they are gonna bring back some of these games or at least do more showy stuff because the Switch has so many more capabilities than like what people give it credit for. It's just they need to build up more of the infrastructure for it. And I really feel like that's going to be happening. Like I think we're going to get the Switch or Switch adjacent for like the long haul. Kind of like it works so well. Like, and I don't think we're gonna have as many like, and I think even going back to cartridges is also part of that with game longevity. And also they're on like the way that they're having like Nintendo Online with the old stuff. I think they're moving into more of a cross-platform play and also just having everything be more interactive. Like, and I know they're gonna make a not Switch, like because Nintendo doesn't stay with the same projects. They're very into innovation, but I think they're going to keep with some of the same key points that are making the Nintendo Switch successful, if that makes sense. So I feel like we're honestly going to get one of those games. Listen, they're making a second Fantasy Life, and when I tell you niche games getting a sequel, that game is so niche. We almost didn't get that game. So I'm like, I've actually got some high hopes for that. But on Pal World, like, there's so much discourse and it's so wild. This is just one of them games that people are just spouting opinions.
I saw somebody play it. They got like a key and they played it like, I guess they were like a beta person. So I saw a little bit of it and I was like I don't see what the big deal. I was like, it's cute, it's whatever, because they didn't get far enough to see like people. And now that it's launched, I'm seeing people play and you could like enslave human beings.
Yes.
Okay.
Enslave the Liberation Front.
Okay, so I feel like I need to just, if I can interject here. So this is not coming from hater bacon. This is not, there is no haterade for this game. Let me preface that first. I am not calling this edgelord Pokemon out of irony. It really is edgelord Pokemon. I mean, it plays like Arc, but so when they wanted to create this game, they did want to examine certain ethical questions that are with Pokemon. They also wanted to make people feel uncomfortable about certain things. They did decide to just add guns to the game because they thought Americans would like it. Now, my only gripe with the guns thing is that there are not pink guns, and there is nothing more American than a pink AK. So I take extreme offense about that. The fact that they're all just one tone. Where is the Star Spangled Banner on the side of the grenade launcher? Like, I have serious questions about this. Even Call of Duty gets this right.
They gotta say something for the DLC, Bacon.
They need a narrative. There's not even a narrative for this game.
Yeah, there is a narrative. You watch the shore and you're trying not to die because all the animals will fucking kill you. So you gotta wrangle them up and put them to
know what
work.
I mean by narrative.
Listen, you out here in these streets. That's narrative. I woke up
But no, that's not narrative, Aaron. But that like the uncomfortable feeling on attacking a pal and not being able to successfully capture it so it dies, they wanted specifically to evoke that kind of feeling. Like that is the purpose of their game. They also kind of operate under they really kind of like sitting on the fence of plagiarism. One of their last games is literally a Tears of the Kingdom knockoff, and they have a Hollow Knight knockoff in production as we speak. So like they're specifically as a company trying to find the exact line of plagiarism and sit on it. Now, as for the AI, there is no proof they used any AI in that game. The artist has, like, even before all this stuff, pretty sure they did have one artist, and they said that they uniquely hand drew a lot of the assets, which I actually believe them, because you can't have that many assets and not create them from scratch. Like you have to. There are too many fucking assets. And they even mentioned that they're like, we actually wanted to shorten it and reuse stuff, and then we found out that was fucking impossible. But the owner of this company is extremely into AI and wants to utilize it for everything as much as possible. As for the copyright claims, I'm pretty sure that there's actually some legal room there if Nintendo, Game Freak, and Pokemon, because they all jointly own Pokemon as like a entity. Like it's shared property between the three. People are like, Nintendo, and I'm like, that's not actually true. They all jointly own it, and the Pokemon company is really the one who's going to be going after people for it. So it's not really Nintendo. It's specifically Pokemon, the company. And if they did go after it, it would be specifically about the assets. There's already a lot of weird copyright stuff specifically about preserving like an expression of the game, but they don't want to trademark things like game mechanics. They don't want to trademark specific game mechanics because that can get real messy real fast, if that makes sense. So the throwing of the Pokeball, it's totally a fucking Pokeball. Like the throwing of the Pokeball to catch a pal, that can't be copywritten as a mechanism, if that makes sense. But there is legal room for the individual assets themselves. Like some of them are just straight up Pokemon. Like you can't tell me they're not. Like one of them is literally one of the dragon types, and it's just got a flower on it, and they just replaced one of the things with a flower on its head and changed the color green. Like it is that thing. Like it is what it is. Now, if they decide that they want to deal with that, that's totally up to them. Their lawyers are probably all trying to decide it now. They also might not decide that they don't really fucking care. Or worst case scenario, it's gonna be like Plants vs. Zombies, where they fucked around with the Michael Jackson estate and used Thriller and Michael Jackson's likeness as a zombie in Plants vs. Zombies.
Ooh.
And they made them change that all out.
Yeah. So
they'll probably be like, oh, here's a small fine and you need to change these specific assets. But I don't think it's that deep. I don't think any of this is that deep, and people are losing their goddamn minds.
Well,
yeah, it's. Oh, go ahead.
I guess I'm still. There's slavery.
There is Edgelord Pokemon I said it for a reason. You can literally buy a guillotine or a chair with spikes in it as furniture.
Slavery enforced Sure.
So
For
of the game,
whatever
is it
reason.
like Bacon said, they want the player to feel uncomfortable doing these things. Like that's the commentary trying to make. Unfortunately, the community that is latched onto this sees this as a how-to manual instead of a warning label.
I've seen people gleefully work the bad, well, like they're not bad guys, but the opposition to you.
Oh no, some of them are
Again.
bad guys. So
I
there's
just
like there's an organization, I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically PETA for pals. They are like for the liberation essentially of all pals. Like you don't capture any pals, but they will also kill pals.
that sounds like PETA.
It's literally a commentation on PETA, and they have guns and they will attack you. Also, the pals can have guns.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw that. I guess I'm just I get the commentary that they're trying to say, but when you just have your player base gleefully making plantations and then uploading TikToks of them singing slave songs, I feel like the mark has been missed, and now you've just made super kawaii slave simulator.
I won't lie to
Yes.
you.
2024.
Having heard the CEO of the publisher speak, I feel like commentary is a strong word for his products.
Yes.
His products are like the middle slice of bread in a Big Mac, like that.
Yes.
Except as exquisitely crafted as you can possibly do. It's just he's not trying to do anything.
Yeah, no. I literally like what this man is trying to achieve is nothing deep. Like he's not like trying to do deep philosophical thoughts. He's like, what if we explore this idea? We know what the answer to that idea is. We all here know what the answer to that idea is.
Yeah.
TikTok, as Najela says, know what the answer to that idea is.
Right. He's here to stir the brain chemicals. People wanted, I guess, a survival Pokemon game, are willing to take literally any survival Pokemon game, glommed onto this. Like as a person, I saw that Hollow Knight, whatever that like supermarket brand Hollow Knight thing they're working on, and I like Metroidvanias, and I was like, oh, that doesn't look too bad. I was getting my brain chemicals stirred up there. That's what they do. I'm not buying that shit, but that's his express goal, is to do that and only that with his products.
Well, and it's actually extra shitty that they did that, because the next Hollow Knight content actually got pushed back again because of the bullshit that was going on previously with Unity, and that's when they announced that they're coming out with a Hollow Knight.
Right.
And I'm like, that's extra shitty, because like the company that did Hollow Knight, that's actually a small indie company.
To be clear, in our current climate, consumer climate, the fastest way to get popular is off of the disdain for another product. He sees it, and he's going to strike every single time. And it is dastardly, but completely valid and true. And
oh no, I understand exactly what he is, but like when I say like I don't have any interest in these products and this game, like everything that was stated here is why I have no interest.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what's funny? So I've with the emergence of Paul World, I was like, it made me think of Palia, and I was like, I'm gonna play Palia again, because you know what's not stressful and doesn't have guns, and I can just farm all the time and craft? Palia. And I was looking at the logo for Palia, and I was looking at just like a Palia box art, and I went, they stole that from Paul. Paul World stole that from Palia.
Yeah, buddy. Man,
I was looking at it, and I'm like, y'all really just like plagiarism as a concept.
hell yeah, bro. Gotta make this money. To get these brain juices and unrest, bro. Let's go.
No, it's like they threw all their marketing material at Fiverr and went, "Can we have something like this?"
Yes.
I was like, what
Transmorpher as strategy.
What
I
in
thought we
the
left that
Streamlabs?
behind.
What in the Streamlabs bullshit is this?
Listen,
For people who don't understand the reference, Streamlabs copied almost the entire website of another streaming, like broadcasting software platform. It was
Oh
a whole.
yeah,
It was
one
a
that
whole. Yes.
didn't they copy OBS? OBS being the free, like purposely freeware because they just want people to have access to it. And then Streamlabs took the free OBS, branded it as Streamlabs, and then just decided to like, oh, well, now we're going to charge people for it
Yes and
while ripping
no.
off their site.
Yes and no. Like they made their own broadcasting software. It probably is based off of OBS, but they operate completely differently. One of the biggest reasons why Streamlabs is popular is because it's extremely intuitive. Like you don't need to know anything to figure out how to use it. Like it's very beginner user friendly. They
Yeah.
put a lot of work into like the user interface of it and trying to make it intuitive.
I
OBS,
used to use Streamlabs, but then
yeah,
I saw what they pulled with OBS, and I was like,
yeah.
oh,
OBS is
I'm
some
just
of
gonna
these.
read up and learn how to use OBS again.
Yeah, I'm I haven't decided what I'm gonna do. Like I don't have the brain to learn OBS from scratch, but I also
Yeah.
don't want to use Streamlabs
I
because
I don't want to use
Streamlabs
Streamlabs
is
'cause
such a Streamlabs is a extremely resource heavy program for no fucking reason.
also like I don't want to pay another monthly fee to use something. Just
You
give
don't have
it
to.
me.
You can straight up use it for free.
Oh, okay, because
Yeah, there's only special
they like
features.
pushed. They were
They
pushing a lot of the features into the paid thing, so a lot of stuff that I like Streamlabs for became paid features. So I'm like, to continue using what I downloaded it for, I'd have to pay for it, and I'm just like, nah.
Nope. That like almost all of the features, all of the core features for it are free. And Twitch specifically actually introduced a bunch of new features on Twitch that are also free, that are stuff that Streamlabs was charging like people premium for. And I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
There's also stuff where like if you combine Stream Elements, which is also free, with Streamlabs, you can get a lot of that other cool stuff. Like if you want to be like, I want to run games in my chat, like you can literally just run it through Stream Elements.
I have, it's been many moons since I've streamed, just because my streams, there's some sim dick torture sometimes, as you do, and Twitch just really looks down on that. So
Sim
I was
what?
on
Sim
I was
what?
on
What?
ePlay for a while.
Excuse me? Sim dick
You know,
torture?
I just before we move on to hold on, before we move on to the Sims dick torture, I'm putting a note in that. Do we have any more on Pal World?
Justin?
No, well, okay. One last thing on Pal World, because gamers as a consumer base are hype beasts. Like by nature, that is how gaming works. Gaming works the same way that hype beasts sell sneakers. That is how games are sold. So when people saw Pal World and they saw the new shiny thing and they wanted to buy the new shiny thing, they didn't read that it was early access. And then they're complaining that the game is unfinished. And I'm like, yes, it's early access. You bought an unfinished game. This is what you signed up for. This is what you wanted to do. You wanted to be a beta tester.
Yeah.
So just seeing people buy into this and then lament the thing that they bought into, it's like, okay, so either you didn't read. Well, no, it's just that you just didn't read. And now that you're here with this incomplete game with bugs that, again, like it's open, it's early access. They farm this out because the studio does not have the resources to do the testing within themselves. So they're going to get you to pay them to do it for them. The game is the game.
No, this is literally what gaming has become, because games are so fucking expensive to make. And if you're a smaller company, this is how you're gonna fund your games. Like they are wildly expensive to make, and gamers don't understand this. There was a lot of the same arguments when it came with Palia, because Palia is in beta and it's got a lot of issues. There's a lot of bugs, but it's in beta. Like this is what a game in beta is. It's buggy. You're here to fix it.
We've been so the beta is, there's early access beta where the game is clearly in beta. And then there's the beta where like the Call of Duty will let you play multiplayer for a weekend, 2 weeks before the game comes out. And they also call that a beta. And I think we conflate the two, even though one is a demo and one is a beta. But they use the same word for both. So I think some folks, when they see beta or early access, they mean that the game is finished and you have early access to it. So we use the same word for like 14 different gaming purchasing scenarios now. And folks are like, oh, early access, no problem. And they don't realize this is not like Call of Duty early access. This is a legitimate beta game. They're not done making it.
Well, also like even with Call of Duty, it's just a final beta to test the servers.
Don't trust me. I work there. It isn't.
Oh, I mean, it's absolutely also a demo, but
no, it is. They're not testing anything. Trust me.
Beautiful.
No, that was the best thing about where I don't work there anymore, so I can say this. They know that shit. They don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They changed the way NDAs work. You're free.
Yeah, they don't know what's going on over there. That's why I don't play. When it seems like they don't know what's going on with Diablo, it seems like they don't know what's going on with COD in terms of balancing Overwatch. They don't. They're vibing.
I mean, I already knew that. I already knew they had no fucking idea.
I know, but the level of, because like, yeah, my favorite. I won't go down this tangent too hard, but they don't know what's going on. We'll get around to it. They're winging it to an alarming degree. Like I said, the fact that they decided to draw the line at Microsoft purchasing them, silly, year and some change long, protracted thing. Activision is poorly run, top to bottom. Anyone should buy it. If we were rich, 4 of us should buy it. Awful. They should let us do it. Awful. Thank you.
I mean, I don't. When you talk about like gamers as a group, I usually think like there's 2 ways I think of that. There's like gamers derogatory, and then there's just like people who play video games. And I feel like gamers derogatory are going to be pissed no matter what. But I think like people who just happen to play video games, like I think sometimes we're just really tired adults, and this is the one thing we go to get that one little drip of serotonin. So when it like doesn't work, we just can't regulate our emotions to deal with it, and we do spin out, even though like we should know that like no, it's not done yet. It's not done cooking. Because I mean, games at launch, I think we've been trained to know are not done, which is why you have the launch day patch, because it shipped, you bought it, but it doesn't work without it because it wasn't done.
I mean,
so it's weird that people are going, I'm in this beta test and there's bugs. Yeah, it's not done yet.
Most games aren't.
But
What were you gonna say, Najila?
oh, I was done.
Okay.
Yeah. It's funny though. Aaron brought up the 4 of us should buy Activision. I think the pitfall that a lot of these folks get into when they buy companies, when they run companies, is, so I'm going to use the LA Times for example. Trust me, this is a segue.
No, I already know. I'm ready. Go for it. I'm so hype.
The dude that bought the LA Times, like one of these billionaire private equity types, he gets in there and he's like, okay, it's a newspaper. Jeff Bezos did this. Clearly, I can do this. It worked for Jeff Bezos because Jeff Bezos had a clear vision of turning the Washington Post into his personal PR machine to pump out his personal politics.
Which is, okay. It's really funny how that backfired. It backfired so hard. Also, continue.
It did, but he actually had a plan for it. It wasn't just, I'm going to buy the thing, let the thing make me money. It was, no, I'm going to buy the thing for this express purpose. The dude bought the LA Times, didn't have a plan, didn't have a vision, ended up laying off a good chunk of the workforce, a lot of black and brown people. And he said, I just can't afford to bleed all this money. I can't afford to subsidize a failing industry. Much like these AI companies that are just tanking in value. It's people that get involved that don't actually understand what they do, but they hop on because they think it's the next big thing to do. And when they realize they don't know what they're doing, they tank the value of it.
Yeah. I feel like AI just became the next buzzword after NFTs, and like the same people that were like trying to sell people on it. They use the same tactics, and I just think it's kind of like once bitten, twice shy. So the same people who would have eaten it up already lost their shirts with the NFTs. So now they're like, I don't care about it. Well, A, they don't have the money to invest in it anymore. And B, they're like, I don't want to get screwed again.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it, right? Like part of it is, like you just said, they got scammed once before. And now the people that are championing this air quote new technology, it's the same class of person that was championing the scam.
Yeah.
And so they're like, I don't know about this, but they also have a fundamental misunderstanding of what it's supposed to do. Just like the people championing crypto had a fundamental misunderstanding of what crypto was made to launder money. Crypto was made to hide money from federal governments to conduct illicit transactions. Crypto was made as a way to conduct financial transactions on the dark web, specifically Silk Road. That's why cryptocurrency exists. Cryptocurrency was not a get rich quick scheme. It was a let me launder money away so I can buy drugs and hire private military contractors under the or off the books. That's why crypto was made. So,
like actually,
yeah.
So with AI, these same people are like, oh, cool. Now we're going to champion AI. They don't understand what artificial intelligence actually does. And I think a lot of the discourse around AI is based on a fundamental misunderstanding of what it's supposed to do.
It's weird because they're also calling complex algorithms AI, and I'm like, that's not AI.
Right, like we're confusing machine learning with artificial intelligence. There are similarities, but they're not the same.
But I feel like trying to sell machine learning is not going to be as sexy and tantalizing as artificial intelligence.
I would say before we continue, Justin, tell us what the difference is.
The short version, machine learning is recognizing patterns and artificial intelligence is expounding on patterns. Like that is the simplest way I can explain it. Machine learning is I can recognize this pattern. Artificial intelligence is I can expound on this pattern you have presented me. Right? So with art, a lot of AI art is just taking existing art, copying its style, and expounding on its inputs. And that's why a lot of artists and creatives bristle at AI art, because people, again, the same tech bro class, was saying AI art will replace artists because now anyone can be an artist. That's not what this technology was initially made for. This technology was initially made to help artists with physical limitations continue creating. It can copy their own style and fill in lines for them that they physically can't draw anymore.
Or I was gonna say, or in like the terms of some of these programs, it's to make things faster. Like instead, like if you're instead of just like even though you're drawing out a thing, there's like ways to like shorten it, if that makes sense. So like you're doing a complex drawing for like a machine because you need a machine to like create it, like create a final product. There's some ways where you can get certain shapes and it can combine shapes in certain ways that you can do yourself, but it would take fucking forever. Be like little shortened things, like shortens. Like tool. Sorry, just to continue.
No, like that's what it is. It's a tool. The problem with it is the people championing the tool are perverting its original use because they want to feel important. Just like the crypto class, the crypto tech bro wanted to replace American currency, which that's hilarious.
That's so fucking funny.
this now new class of AI tech bro wants to replace creatives and use AI to replace creatives. They want to feel special. They want to feel like they are creating something. So they're using this technology to copy the works of other people to create facsimiles of art. And they want to feel special about that. Like that is the base argument around AI, not just for art, but in any industry. It's people that want to use this technology to take inputs from real people, then replace those people to generate facsimiles of what those people once created. The chatbots. Chatbots take inputs from real people to create facsimiles of conversation. It will never be able to give you a true conversation. It will never be able to give you a true report. It will never be able to give you a true output because it is missing a human element of discernment to get to it. It's missing a human element of discernment. Where like if you use ChatGPT to create a report, it'll give you a report on a subject, but you need discernment to filter out the grammatical errors, filter out extra information, make sure that the structure flows, but it'll give you something, but that something is just data. Like it's just barfing out inputs that it's taken from other people to give you a facsimile of something. It's not real.
It can't make citations. It can't make actual citations.
Mm-hmm.
It starts hallucinating on the citations, and that shit is hilarious to me, but it's also driving me up a wall because I am in school right now. So I have to actually look up to see if the citation, because like whenever I'm because they've incorporated all of these chatbots and AI into the search engines, and sometimes it gives me information, or like sometimes people will like cite what was, or they'll pull out citations from what was given to them from AI. So I actually have to triple check citations, and it is so much more time consuming than it used to be. I hate when it's done in databases.
I feel for you so badly.
So bad.
We could actually use machine learning for citations, right? Like we could use the same tools that colleges use to detect cheating. That same process could be used for citations. It's like, hey, I recognize this line from this, right? You could do it. It would just take a lot of time and a lot of effort that the powers that be say it's not worth it. But when it's worth it,
it's so worth it. But also it take a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Because these like actual AI uses a lot of energy. So much energy. So much water.
I felt terrible when I found that out because it was like right after Microsoft Edge was like, you have to search with AI now. That was like when they launched it. And I decided to see how long it could take for you to make it stop talking to me. It was 4 minutes. Turns out the Cortana gets very offended if you ask it to rank the members of Fall Out Boy from top to bottom. Yeah, apparently it can't tell you how to make a pie without poisoning yourself, but it knows that it will not tell you who's a top and who's a bottom in Fall Out Boy. And I messed around with that, and then I found out like maybe 15 minutes later that, oh, this is how much energy it takes to use these things. And I was like, oh God. That's me pissing on the rainforest just to get a giggle about who's a top and who's a bottom in Fall Out Boy. And I already have my suspicions, so I didn't even get that.
I already have my suspicions.
I mean, if it's from top to bottom, starts with Andy, ends with Pete.
Ma'am.
Am I wrong, though?
So you were talking, Nigella, earlier before the show about what was about the news with these AI companies?
Oh, that a lot of them that were seeking venture capitalist funding are not getting them anymore. So like the industry has lost like 190 billion in valuation. which is like further hindering the stability of the tech sector. So there's just less tech jobs because so many places are about to go under or doing massive layoffs, because it's like when everybody was like, oh, you got to pivot to video, and then everybody lost their marketing department because pivot to video was bullshit and it just wasted everybody's money, and then the workers were the people who suffered for it.
Oh yeah, and they found out one, how much it costs to make video, and two, how much like you need to keep all those same marketing people to make video because they're actually the only ones who know how to market it.
Yeah. So I also think it's like what you were saying, Aljo, with people don't know what AI is. So they're making all these like decks and making all these promises that, oh, we're going to revolutionize X, Y, and Z with the power of AI. But they like it's not there yet. Like AI cannot diagnose your illness.
And
Like,
it's so weird because like these true AI, like in the way that like some companies actually do have it, the pattern dissemination is, I think that was what you said, Justin. Takes a lot of human energy and work and course correction, and it's a lot of labor that's coming out of Africa.
yeah.
And it takes a lot of labor to keep them from hallucinating. And there's some labor right shit that's happening right now in Africa because they are seeing some of these some of these like machines are essentially being trained off of the internet, and the internet is at this point a cesspool. Yeah. And they are filtering a cesspool. This is basically like, for, in my opinion, like, and Justin, correct me if I'm wrong, this is like a tech version of a person who works in waste management and has to sort through everything.
Yeah. That
Sometimes it's
that.
fun that.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna make a very dumb joke. So.
And I love those. Please continue.
Yeah, please tell the dumb joke.
Well, I was gonna say, before I found out that AI was burning energy and killing so much of our precious resources, I realized that not only did AI know about tops and bottoms, but specifically it was trolling like fan fiction sites
Oh
because
my
it
God, that
knew
was
what
so funny.
slick was, and it told me to stop asking about it. It was very offended.
So fan fiction is part of the AI art conversation and debate, etc. And it was really funny because, and there was, I'm saying this is funny as an artist, because the fan fiction people thought that they were safe and were telling like the artists that, you know, that they were just being like overreacting. And then they found out that their fan fiction was being gone through, and they went, wait. I'm like, yeah, sucks, doesn't it, bitch?
Yeah.
Sorry, continue, LJ.
No, that's pretty much it. Like, these people that don't understand how the technology works and only want to use the technology to make themselves feel special by erasing people doing labor. That's the problem with it, right? Like, in its original form, in its original conception, it was designed to aid people, not replace people. But the people that got a hold of it are only interested in replacing them and saving a few dollars and making themselves feel special.
Yeah.
Well,
And I kind of feel like maybe we just didn't see the pattern, but this has just been how the tech industry's been doing since the dot-com boom. But at least for the dot-com boom, like, it wasn't 100% malarkey. I mean, there was a lot of it. Like, does anybody remember Ping?
I do remember Ping.
Like Ping, like that didn't work out. Or you're supposed to have that like special scanner, like a cat, and you put it on the magazine pages. Like, they were selling all kinds of garbage and making millions doing it, knowing that it was not going to last and it was not sustainable. But like enough of it was real and tangible and enough good to society that we're like, okay, let these guys cook. And I feel like they've been doing cycles of that for so long ever since. And it's just like the law of diminishing returns, because now they literally was like, hey, this picture on the internet, but what if on blockchain it's yours, kinda? I mean, like this particular one. And there were people dumb enough to go, yes, here are my bitcoins for that. And now I think what else do they have to push on us? Especially because the internet, as we know it, is eroding. Age verification laws is going to censor and destroy the free internet if COSA is passed. So I don't know. I kind of think it's a death knell. These are like the last bubblings of the tech, you know, the
Boom.
avant-garde tech guys. Yeah, like it's the final burst. Like I can't imagine what else they're gonna try to be the next get rich quick scheme.
Oh, what? When it hits, you're going to laugh.
Oh, is this a you can't say anything?
This would definitely be a play the music conversation, but when it hits, you're going to laugh.
Can you at least DM me or put it somewhere secure where like because I will die if you don't tell me.
With the recording, I can tell you what I think it's going to be. Just based on like stuff that I know and folks that I'm talking to, I can tell you what I think it's going to be. And yeah, these people don't learn.
So you're saying?
I mean, con artists are gonna con, and people are always gonna fall for the con. Like, I think this is one of those. I'm sure there's a philosophy thing for it where it's just a thing that happens for all of life. Sorry, I'm taking philosophy classes, and it sucks because I realize that I am I'm actually just a thinker, like a philosophical thinker, and I've been avoiding that label for my entire life, and now I'm staring at it and I'm having a crisis about it. So don't mind me.
Oh, that's fine. It's a fine title to have. It just depends on who you have around you to have the conversations with. Because I understand, I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear it either when I was surrounded by like Irish Catholic military white boys. I don't want to. But now I think as we're older,
No, do you realize, Aaron? I've been forcing people to have these conversations with me forever, and while also actively ignoring the label. Like I'm having a moment. It's bad.
I know, Bacon. I've known you for several years.
I know you're probably finding this also kind of funny.
It is very funny. So wait, do we have super secret information to share off the record? Because if so, then we might as well just call it now to instill intrigue.
Wait, I need to know now about The Sims. I'm pulling that note out. I'm pulling that note.
Yeah, you did. There's more Sims content dropped. We do have our Sims on the ground expert.
I need to know the context of whatever it was about the dicks, and also why Nigella is angry at The Sims, which I actually know about, and it is a valid reason.
All Sims reporting now is like live on the ground hurricane reporting. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like never working. It never works out. It's always a shit show, and Nigella is always on the ground getting her poncho blown off while the fucking palm trees are 45 degrees, talking about it's windy. Like, it's great. Thank you for your sacrifice and contributions to the program. This shit sounds dangerous.
So they released a patch, and it was kind of controversial because the last expansion pack dropped in a shameful condition. Literally, none of the major features work. None of them. And when I say not work, like not like, oh, I just can't do it. I mean, like, corrupt your save file, kills your game, grandparents will disappear, accidental incest. Like, catastrophic things are going down. And then they're like, oh, well, we're doing a quick fix patch. And literally, they didn't fix anything for that expansion in that. Well, not literally. They fixed the, I think, the typeface on the loading screen for something, but not things that make your game crash or your save file corrupt. So the newest expansion, I think I said it last time I was on, is called For Rent, Sims 4 For Rent. Terrible title. Um, and it was all about like residential rentals, but that feature doesn't really work um, in the way that if you use a cheat, which The Sims told the players about, to have more than 6 units on your residential lot, it'll corrupt your save and start like endless load loop. So you can't actually play your game until you like you might have to start over. Also, this pack broke other packs if you have them. So now certain Sims, if you have For Rent and you have seasons, some Sims just will not react to holidays, even though they're in the same household. And they have features for Rent where you can break into people's apartments or homes. It doesn't work. If you try endless loop into a loading screen, even though if you just loaded into the house, like if you just visited the house and knocked on the door, fine. Break-in event, not working. So everybody, it's a season of caution. Every time I play, I have to back up my saves and back up everything because I don't know if this is going to be the time that I just lose everything. And I've been playing this particular save file for 2 years, but I have another save file that I've literally been playing since 2016, I believe, or actually very early 2017. So I do not want that to be corrupted. I've kept it alive this long. It's not dying now. So I feel like the Sims community, usually I would say we are just a sack of ordinary bitches. But I think we got a point this time. You charge us $52 to break our game. It's not good. And I'm playing through it. Mostly because it's the closest thing to a vice I can enjoy. And I'm trying to make it work. And for your question about the sim dick torture, yeah, that's a thing you could do now. Shout out to Turbo Driver. There's a couple of mods that will facilitate such a thing. And there's some places where you can now stream games that have, you know, dicks in them. Or vaginas. Buttholes. And now the Sims adult the adult mods really just they're very detailed. I usually just download whatever, sometimes indiscriminately, which I really have to stop doing because someone would be like, "Yo, have you seen this?" And I'm like, "No, give it here," and I'll just put it in my game. And next thing you know, my Sims are sounding each other, and you're just like, "Oh, that's a thing." Uh, and now
What? Hello?
yeah, it's just a thing that they do now. Also, like very detailed genitalia, like wink and buttholes. I'm talking just very the amount of detail. Because first it was like Sims 1. They had a site called the 7 Deadly Sims, and it was like goofy because it's like, oh, it gives your Sims nipples, and we'd giggle because we were like literal children. So yeah, that was hilarious. But now it's like, oh, they have urethras, and they, boy, how do they use them now? They have advanced penile rigs and vaginal rigs. Also, they have for gender nonconforming people, they have rigs for those body types as well. And they open and close for certain animations. Their flaps, oh, the flaps also now animate. So I don't. It kind of. So there was a time where it was just like goofy, haha, and then it was like, oh, so detailed that it's gross. But now it's kind of like a perverted palabra. It has just come back to goofy, haha, because it is
I'm
so
sorry.
explicit.
Have we reached horseshoe therapy? Like horseshoe theory?
Yeah,
We've reached the horseshoe theory of sim mods. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that's what happened. Got it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
understand.
But also, my big gripe with The Sims is I've noticed that despite bragging that they have like robust family trees in The Sims 4, I keep on finding Sims that I don't control marrying their cousins. Like I think if you have the same great grandfather, you should not be having children with that person. That is incest. Like, am I wrong? Like, am I the prude? But there's a lot of cousin hunching in The Sims 4, and I would like it to stop.
I mean, that has made its way over from just regular old porn all the way into your game. And
Well, I mean, it gets a base game because like people who play it on console will like have a family, move somebody out because they've grown up, they're young adults, they have their own family. So the game now with story progression will choose a spouse for that person. Apparently, having a common ancestor does not take them out of the running
yeah,
to marry somebody.
right.
And I kind of feel if you have the same grandfather or great grandfather, take them out of the running.
Yeah, same grandfather's a little too close. Also, same great grandfather a little too close to home.
I feel like great grandfather definitely now. Like
really,
sharing common ancestors like great grandfather, great grandfather. Nah, this ain't Alabama. This ain't Florida. Nah.
if I could take a time
well,
machine,
in The Sims 4, it's all.
This is not Ohio.
oh,
Literally, I was looking because
I don't regret that.
that was Midwest.
I was
That's
playing
Midwest
a very
beer for no
fresh
reason.
save because I was using it mostly just to take pictures. But then I realized I made a family so I could take pictures of them. I made all the Sims in my work in progress. And as I was taking pictures of other Sims and doing other stuff, this is a game, no mods or no like mods that interfere with like marriage. So I took MC Command Center out. Still marrying their cousins. And I've seen people on console where you can't have any mods of any type complaining that their Sims are marrying their cousins.
Yep. That sounds
I feel like
that sounds X-Video-tastic. Just it's fine because it's just seems to be what we're into in the dark. It's made it to your Sims game, and I'm sorry, and I deeply apologize.
Well, what was weird was I remember when I first started playing The Sims and people were complaining about it. And they've just added infants. And it was like a big to do. So a lot more like family players started playing. And so they were like, hey, it's real weird that my Sim can marry into a family and then fall in love with their stepchildren once they become adults. And the Sims were like, oh, we're going to fix that. That happened 6 years ago, hasn't been fixed. You can still fall in love with your stepchildren or your step parent, even if they raised you from when you were a baby. That's weird. I don't like that. There's too much incest in The Sims 4. And at least find a way to like minimize it. Just if somebody's in your family tree, you can't marry them. Like, isn't not that the rule that we've all been playing with in life?
Yes.
Why could this life simulator not also adhere to it?
I feel like we have a lot of points of like activism here. Like we started off by pointing out the injustice of the Microsoft Store, and now we're wrapping up with the extreme liberties a corporation is taking with our life simulator game. Extreme fucking liberties. That should be at least a fucking toggle. At least. If that's what
My
you're
Sims
into.
family tree is a big round shrub.
You look
That
genuinely
is such an awkward sentence.
you look genuinely pained. You look genuinely pained to say that, and I'm sorry that your Sims game is being irrevocably damaged by this shit. So
It's very Game of Thrones.
You so clearly don't want this, and I'm very sorry for you.
I don't. I literally like with some of the mods, I had to take some out because I was like, Game of Thrones is one thing, but it was getting like VC Andrews, and I was like, no, absolutely not. So I just don't want incest in my game. And I hate the fact that after what they called a major patch, it's still in there. Because last time I was complaining because the stupid for rent thing disappeared people because I put them in a rental and then they disappeared and then they were gone. So like the family tree wasn't connected. But now, even when they are on the family tree together, they're getting married. I just think the incest, maybe that's just what they wanted. Maybe that's just in the game. And I need to find a mod that takes the incest out. Sarah,
That is such a wild sentence. I need to find a mod like to take incest out of my game. Justin, is that not one of the most wild sentences you've heard?
I muted myself because I was laughing so hard. I need to take the incest out.
and I know there's so much going on in the world. I should be sad about so many more things, but like this is the one thing I got. I'm not doing drugs.
Listen, it's an election
not
year. We
drinking.
don't ask for much. Asking for not having incest in your game during an election cycle, I feel is fair.
Please, right.
I'm no longer a woman of
Please.
vice. I just want my happy little sim families to not marry their goddamn cousins.
All right, guys. There really is nowhere to go. There really is nowhere to go. So
There is to our Patreon.
Patreon.com/UN Fridays, like United Nations, but Fridays, but UN Fridays. Patreon.com/UN Fridays pays for food, pays for the show, pays for the little bit legitimate groceries,
Pays for future ownership of Activision.
pays for future ownership of Activision. They're gonna come swoop in the 11th hour and buy Activision from Microsoft. All right, from under Microsoft, and it's gonna be glorious. We're gonna.
I will totally put some of my favorite Sims for download up on the Patreon for you guys.
Oh,
that would actually be great.
yeah, that actually. Really
I
cool.
actually made an Aaron Sim and a Bacon Sim.
I never saw the Bacon Sim. You should definitely share the Bacon Sim.
Yeah,
I'm
I
fine
only
with being
made
put in
that.
people's Sims.
I made it so
I just
long
don't
ago,
tell
I
me
have
what's
to update
happening.
it.
Actually, tell me
No.
only safe for work stuff about what's happening. I have cooties when it comes to sex. I am asexual. Like it's fine. I don't want to know.
But
you can't have my
once I showed Aaron, I was like, "Oh, I moved your Sim to a house," and then because Sim was just like getting it in. And I was like, "I didn't tell them to do that. I'm so sorry."
Listen, it be like that sometimes. That's all. I understand. Real Aaron, I understand Sim Aaron. We are aligned in that. But
Yeah.
so as to not
Sim
gross out
Aaron
bacon.
made his Sim girlfriend a sandwich, and it was apparently an amazing sandwich because she was just like, "It's on now."
Sometimes you have to thank somebody for a really good sandwich with some really good sex.
Huh?
Now, again, I don't want to know. But I also understand how The Sims works, and I'm an adult, and I think it'd be cool if I was in somebody's game. But only tell me safe for work shenanigans. I don't want to know anything else.
Yeah. Like make Sim Bacon like a robber baron of Newcrest or something.
I would be a robber baron. I'd be a
Nightmares
pirate.
2.0.
I mean, I am a pirate in like every fucking game now. It's really funny. Anyway, on that note, Patreon.
We have to go.
And we're going.
Yeah.
This is not a Midwestern goodbye. We are going. Goodbye.
What are you talking about? Leaving for 2 minutes.
That's just nigga shit.
Have a pleasant day.